Hi there, and welcome to this series, How to Solve Algorithms Using JavaScript. My name is Ekenedlishku Okoli, and this is the Ekenedlishku channel. Like, share, and definitely subscribe. So today I am going to be creating an extended video, the part two of the previous video that I created on how to solve algorithms using JavaScript. So this is going to be the part two, the second video for it. So again, my links are all at the left hand side of this thumbnail. So follow me on Twitter, GitHub, Facebook, LinkedIn. Look at my website, ikenglishschool.info, my profiles, experience, and so on and so forth. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Very, very important. So today, we are going to be talking about how to solve algorithms using JavaScript, part two. Are you ready? Great. Let's dive in. So, just as we did the first time, we are going to be working with the console. So, if you are having problems in in getting to the console, all you need to do, like I said earlier on, is to first of all right click on click on this menu button in Chrome browser, click on more tools and click on developer tools. Now that is the long method to get this done, but there's a shorter method. You can right click on the body of the website, then go down to inspect and then click on inspect and then click on console, and voila, we are back at the same spot where we got to. So this is the console, the developer of the Chrome developer tools. It's one of the tools used, like I said earlier on. And last time we solved the how to reverse a string. So I was able to show you how to reverse a string and it worked. Yay. All right. So today we are going to be solving the second one, calculate the factorial of a given number. So if you have questions, remember, if you ever have questions and you want to ask me exactly what to do or how to go about a particular thing, or you have an algorithm that you want me to look into, you can always reach me through any of my link. I am looking forward to seeing you. You can always reach me through any of these links at the left hand side. I want to be friends with you. I want to connect with you because it means that I'm actually growing and I'm actually helping people achieve what they want. And that is my goal. So reach out to me, ask me whatever questions you would like me to answer, and I will get back to you prompto. Okay, so how to solve algorithms using JavaScript, part two. Today we are going to be working on the second one, and if time permits, we'll go into the third one. So calculate the factorial of a given number n. So input 4, output should be 24. We want to calculate the factorial of a given number n, and when we say factorial, we're talking about 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that is what a factorial is. So if n is 4, then that is what it should be. If n is 10, it should be 10 times 9 times 8 times 7. So you're basically reducing the numbers and then you are counting down to 10 times 8 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 and times 1. So it must always start from that number and then get to the final number, which is 1. So how do I go about this? Beautiful. Very beautiful question. So let us dive right in. Great. So from the last class, I was able to show you and explain some basic things, and I hope you actually did follow or understand what I was trying to say. But we were able to solve one of the algorithms, how to reverse a string, and we're able to solve that. But today we are going to be solving something much more different. So I hope you understood what a function is, and I'm also hoping you understand what a function declaration is. Good. If you understand that, then I'm happy we are on the same page. But if you do not understand that yet, then what we are going to be doing is can go through this video, learn as much as you can, but then wait for my JavaScript tutorial video to come up. And once that does come up, you would be able to see a couple of things that I have already done in JavaScript. So I'll be able to explain each and everything you need to know as a beginner in JavaScript. All right. So let's dive right into functions. Every JavaScript function begins with the word function. So function, what are we doing? Factorial, okay? We're working on factorial. Function, let's give it the name factorial. Good. So we have written our function factorial, and we are supposed to take in an argument, which is a number n, into this function. All right. So if you noticed, you would see that this name of the function doesn't have any capital letters. Why? Because it is just one word. Factorial is just one word. So we do not need to have multiple multiple names, multiple capital letters or a capital letter in this function name, since it's just only one word. So in later videos, I'm sure you would understand what a camel case is. But for now, just know that a camel case is basically the name, the way that something is being, the name of a function is being written, the way that the name of a function is being written. And is basically saying that the first word should not be capitalized, but the first letter of the first word should not be capitalized, but the first letter of the second word, third word, and subsequent words should all be capitalized. So that's what the camel case is. All right, so let's go into what we're supposed to be doing today. So we're going to be doing a factorial of 4. All right, let's get this up and running. Control C, Control V. Let's put in 4. Let's pass in 4 here. Okay, so if we click here, it will show undefined. Well, we haven't written anything in this function, so definitely it's going to be showing undefined. So function factorial n factorial 4. All right, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? We want to create a loop that actually does this work properly for us. So let's go ahead and call the for loop. Let me write it. After writing it, I'll show you what I'll explain to you what it means. So let I equals to n, which is what we're passing in. I is greater than or equal to 1. greater than or equal to 1, I minus minus. Good. So what are we doing here? We are saying that we want to loop through n. We want to loop through n and reduce the value of n for subsequently from one particular case or number to another number. So for let I equals to n, I is greater than or equal to 1, I minus minus. So now, after doing this, or before doing this also, we need to create something that we are going to return, a variable that we're going to return. So let's say let result. I like giving my, you can give it anything. If you're following me, you must not use the word result. You can say let object or let name, whatever it is you want to give it to it. So let's say let name equal to equal to 1. Okay, let's say count. Let count equals to 1 to make more sense. Let's say let count equal to 1 for it to make more sense. So now, now in the loop we say count is count times equal to I. We say count times equal to I. Now let us return count. Beautiful. And voila, we have been able to solve this. How did we solve it? Let me explain. So, function, we wrote our function, we gave our function a name, and we passed in n as an argument. So, we created a variable that we equated to 1. Now, why we put 1 there is we cannot call it 0 because we are multiplying the value of I with into count and adding it to count. We are multiplying it with count, with the value, previous value of count, and adding it into count. So if we have 0 here, the whole entire thing is just going to be 0. And that is not going to work. Now let's try that and let me show you what I mean. You see, the whole entire thing is going to be 0. So you cannot start your count at 0 because it will just completely, anything times 0 is 0, right? So it will just completely scatter whatever it is you're trying to do because basically whatever it is you do times 0 is equal to 0. So let count equals to 0 for let I equals to n, I greater than. So let I equals to n, that we are saying let I be equal to whatever it is we are passing into n. So I is equals to 4 at this first instance. I greater than or equal to 1. So which means I should not be less than 1. Because if I is 0, then by the time we pass in 0 into I multiply, 0 multiplies whatever we have in count, and that automatically becomes 0. And we don't want that. So that is why this is greater than or equal to 1. So I minus minus completely means, like we had before in part 1, we are reducing the value of I. So count times equal to I. What this basically means, or if we want to write it in another way and say count is equal to count times I. Times I. And then we remove this 0 from here, put 1, and it still gives us 24. You can see that. So this is how to calculate the factorial of a particular number. So what this did is 4 at the first instance, 4 is passed into n, and 4 becomes n, 4 becomes n, and n becomes 1. So 4 becomes I, so 4 becomes n, and n becomes I. So I becomes 4. So at the first instance, I is 4. Then I is asked the question, is I greater than or equal to 1? Yes, I is greater than or equal to 1. So let's run whatever we have in the loop. Count is equal to count times I. So now count here is 1. 1 times 4 is what? 4. And 4 is now equated to the value of count. So count is updated. It's no longer 4. It's no longer 1, but now 4. Then we go back to the for loop. The for loop reduces the value of n, which was 4, to 3 now. So what does 3 do? 3 is passed into n becomes I becomes 3. Count, which was previously 4, multiplies by 3, which is now the new value of I. 4 times 3 gives us 12. Right? Now, 12 is now equated to the value of count. So count now becomes 12, no longer 4. It has added, it has increased in value. So at this point where 3 is being passed in, we're having count to be what? 12. Good. So it goes back into the loop and it reduces I minus minus. It reduces the value of I by 1. Now, I here, n now becomes 2. 2 is equated to I, which means I is 2 at this third round. Count, which is previously 12 times 2, becomes 24. 24 is equated to the value of count, and the value of count is now updated. So what do we have now? We have 24. The next one, I is equal to 1. So it reduces I from 2 to 1 now, and I is now equal to 1. Is 1 equal to 1? Yes, 1 is equal to 1. Let's run this. So count is was earlier 24. 24 times 1 still gives us 24. And that has happened. It then reduces the value of I to 0. 0 is equal to I. Is 0 greater than 1 or equal to 1? No, 0 is not greater than 1 or equal to 1. That is false. So it automatically ends its looping in that section. So now, returning count, what was the last figure of what count was? Count was 24. So that is why we are having 24 here at as the answer to this algorithm problem. So that's good. We have been able to solve the second one. Now let's go and solve the third one. Let's go and solve the third one. Okay, so check the total number of words in a camel case. Okay, let's go back. Let's empty all this. You should follow me by using your fingers and working on this so that it becomes more easier for you to understand. So let's remove this. Let's create a function. Let's call it camel is. We are passing in a string, passing in a string. function camel case, we're passing in a string. And yes, that is what we have been able to do. So let us call this function. Okay, that is not working. Yo, let us call this function. Always remember to put your parentheses. When I was learning this, it gave me a lot of problems because sometimes I forget to put my parentheses and it doesn't run. And I keep wondering what is wrong with my code. So I would not know that this is actually the problem. So always remember to put your parentheses when you're working with JavaScript, especially when you're calling your function. So, the camel case, let us put in a string. Let's say this is what camel case should be. Right. This is what camel case should be. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six, and seven. So we have seven words in this sentence. So this is what the camel case should be. So let us begin. We are going to be looping through this for. So this time we'll be using the forward loop, no longer the backward loop. So we're going to be using the forward loop, not the backward loop. So for let I equal to 0, I less than string dot length I plus plus. Okay. So what we're saying here is let's loop through string, and in looping through our string, let's loop through string, and in looping through our string, we want to run this our for loop through this particular string of which we have here to enable it or enable us be able to understand or confirm how many words are in this sentence. Okay, so now we have been able to loop through it. So we have to use an if statement in we have to use an if statement in working in this place. Let's say if I okay if string of I dot to uppercase equal to I is equal to string of I String of I dot to uppercase is equals to string of I. Then, okay, let result equal to 1. Then result plus plus. Let's run this and let's see if this would work. Return result. Okay, so it isn't working. It isn't working properly. So okay. Okay. So let's use another method, another way to look through this. See, this is how it currently is most times. So let's say let char of string. Okay, so this would change if char dot to upper case equal to char then result plus plus. Okay, so okay, let's see. There should be something else to solve this. Okay, okay, I've seen my problem. Okay, okay. Uh, this wasn't completely done. Okay, to uppercase. Oh yeah, it's not a function. Okay, see, this is why solving algorithms is not easy because you need. See, I just explained to you guys what it means to have a camel case, and I still did not do that properly. Okay, so good. Voila. And there we have it. So let char of string, let char of string, we are looping. This means let characters of string. It's looping through each character of that particular string. If the character dot to uppercase now, this simply means that this is character to uppercase. Let's say u dot to uppercase. Let's say u dot to uppercase. You see that it changes the value of that u to the uppercase value of what u should be. So dot to uppercase, this this 3 equal to sign here means, let me show you what that means. Small letter u, capital letter u. Now you can see small letter u as a string. Is it exactly the same as, should it equal, does it equal a capital letter U? And it will tell you, JavaScript will tell you it's false, that the small letter u is not equal to the capital letter U. Okay, so that is what this means. So we're asking if the character of string to uppercase is equal to the character that is the same thing as that character in that string, then we should increase the value of result. return result. So we are returning that number. Increase it by adding 1 to the current value. So why is 1 here? Because we already know that this first one is a word. THIS is a word. So we have added that already. So this is what camel case should be. Has 7 words in it. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it has 7 words in it. Okay. So let sha of string, if sha dot to uppercase is exactly the same as sha itself, then result plus plus. Okay. So with that, we have been able to solve two algorithms in this part two. We have been able to calculate the factorials of a given number, and we have been able to check the total number of words in a camel case. But okay, let us pick this, copy. Let's run the test on this so that we can know, so we can know exactly what we want to be doing here. This is my function. Let's see how many words are in this function, in this sentence. So we have 4 words in this sentence. So this is my function, would give 4 words. So if you should calculate it or count it, it should be this one is to my 3 function 4. So it knows that we know that every word starts from a particular every word starts with or using capital letters. So once the function sees the capital letter, it counts it as a new word on its own. So that is what this does. So I am glad that you have been able to join me in how to solve algorithms using JavaScript, the part two. Ensure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, remember that this is the Ekene School channel. Connect with me on any of my social media links. I am eager to meet you. Have a beautiful time learning and solving algorithms. Till next video, I am Ekene School.